Alrighty, folks, welcome back to Mossy Roots Farm. So this would be, maybe about a week's recap, 6-day recap on grazing. This was my mud pit that should have never happened, but because I have a terrible setup, it had to happen. But honestly, it doesn't look all that bad. Yes, there's nothing growing in this mud, and I figured that because it's too wet, drowned plants, soil disturbance, all that good stuff. But then we'll take you over here to mud pit number 2. It's not quite as terrible, but it's still not beautiful, obviously. I'm sure you guys would be able to tell that. But it's doing really good for what I thought I would have. So still a mud pit. And then this is the next section we came to. This is when the cows decided to move themselves. And this ended up looking really nice, but this pasture is usually a little bit better than this one anyways. It's just the way the cookie crumbles or the water lays or whatever you want to say. So this over here is, these two should be the first true test of grazing this year. And what I mean by that is I got them in here. They stayed in here. They were in here for the correct amount of time. And everything looks okay-ish. Probably, again, got out here grazing a little bit too soon. I'm looking. Probably should have cut these paddocks in half. But if I cut them in half instead of in thirds, then I end up later on in the year just putting myself behind. So I probably should have waited another week, as evidenced by my mud pit up there. However, if I would have waited till the rain stopped, who knows when I would have started grazing. Maybe in January of next year when it froze. Oh, just kidding. Ohio doesn't freeze. But this really doesn't look too terrible. This paddock that they're currently in and going to get moved today was a smaller paddock, so I expect to see a little bit more dirt. I expect to see some clumps like this left because there was poopy there. They're not going to eat in the poop. So there's things like that I expect to see. But overall, this really doesn't look too terrible. Now the fun part, having to move them that way. So that was a brief little update. Now I wanted to discuss the main topic of this video. A lot of these professional grazers will come out here and tell you that you got to change up your rotation every year. Instead of grazing your farm counterclockwise, you need to go clockwise. But I say that's impossible, especially with an average farmyard. How many of your farm lots are perfect squares or triangles or circles? How many of your farmyards are perfect, beautiful, symmetric shapes where you can go any direction that you want with an alleyway up 4 or 5 sections? Not mine. To get all the way over there by the house, I got to go through all these sections. According to them, you got to switch it up every couple years. Instead of always starting in this paddock, you got to start there one year. You got to start here. You got to start over there. Well, explain to me how you're going to walk cows through beautiful green grass all the way down over there. And then, how are you going to try and get them to go backwards? It just doesn't work that way, because then, by the time they're coming back on their full rotation, you got to walk them all the way back there through fresh green grass every single time you start your rotation over again. It just doesn't work out, folks. That's why when these guys say this stupidity, when they spew their stupidity of you have to do this, they clearly have never actually been out farming, because that's not how that works. You can't just say you have to do this and then poof, it happens. It doesn't work out that way. Can I help you, Pickles? That is my boot. Don't eat my boot, please. Because yes, I understand the concept, right? They always claim, oh, well, nature doesn't start the same place. When these guys were wild, when the bison were out in thousands upon millions, they didn't start grazing in the same place every springtime. No, they did not. You're right. But I can't do that here on the farm. I can't get them from this paddock over to there to then all the way behind me up the house if I wanted to really randomize this. Bully Bull, you do not need to eat me either. Stop it. Both of you. Stop it. Leave me alone. So that's what I mean, guys, is these experts talk a lot of talk, but you can't put into practice their talk. You can't actually do half the stuff they claim. And I know for a fact that they are full of crap, because one of the grazers I'm talking about specifically states to do this. And in his YouTube videos, he has said to get to, I'm just going to make some names or numbers up here. To get to paddock 14 all the way in the back, you got to go through paddock 10. So if you have to go through paddock 10 to get paddock 14, you're not randomizing it. So again, folks, these people are a do as I say, not as I do type people. And I don't wish any ill harm or any ill will on any of them. I really wish the best for all of them. But I'm hopefully getting you guys to understand that you can graze the way you want to or the way you need to for your farm, and nothing's going to happen. There's no negative effects. You're not going to wake up one day and everything's going to be gone because you didn't listen to every single thing that they said. That's not how that works. It's not how any of this works. Well, folks, thank you so much for watching the first week recap and why I start at the same paddock every year video. I will hopefully see you guys on the next one.